Welcome, everybody. First of all, can we give another round of applause for that incredible show? My name is Maikimhanna. I run an organization called Afikra, and the organization is dedicated to exploring the histories and cultures of the Arab world. And this is a live recording of a new series that we just launched called Quartertones. And Quartertones is about exploring what music of the Arab world did, does, and might sound like in the future. So essentially, we have this amazing opportunity to speak to the group just after the performance and sort of dive a little more deeply into some of the songs. So that's what we're about to do. So let's just talk briefly, and I'll open this up to anyone. Maybe you can start. What is Gnawa music? If you were to explain it to a high schooler who's never heard that term before, what's the best explanation for this?
It's a healing music. So it's a music for people that feel sick, either physically or emotionally. They lost a loved one, or they miss someone that's traveled way far away from home. And then they go to a Maalem who is close by, which means master, and ask them, can you please organize a lila? And lila means night, literally in Arabic, and it's a whole night ceremony where the Maalem will conduct his musicians to make sure that the spirit that lives inside this sick person is appeased, because the Gnawa people believe in spirits that you negotiate with. It's not exorcism, it's not about getting rid of something, it's about reconciling and negotiating with the spirit. So that's why it's really hard to become a Maalem and a master of this music, because you have to really be in touch with the person in front of you who is trancing and dancing. And if you see that their spirit is the red color, for example, because there's another thing we can get into, every song has a color and an incense, then you will stay on that song for 2 hours. It doesn't mean that every song is 4 minutes. If somebody is trancing on the red color, you can stay forever. And that's the power of the master, is to know what to do to heal the person in front of them dancing.
Yeah, it's so funny. So just to pull back the curtain a little bit, before the show started, I went downstairs, I saw in the green room, I said, could you possibly just give me the set list so I can take notes? And you looked at me like I was a crazy person. You said, there's no set list. So what did we just see right now? How did that sort of organically come about?
It's a call and response music, so it's all about listening. And you have to be really on your toes, and the Maalem will play one or two notes that you know gives you an order to either sing a specific response to it or do a specific move. And it's on the spot. There is no order that you can rehearse. There's no set choreography or set order of songs. You just have to follow the lead.
Yeah. So, for this type of music, is it always this exact instrumentation? So, give us the names of the like, it's a sintir?
Yeah, so there's three main instruments of Gnawa music.
Yeah.
You have the sintir, or gumbri, 3 strings. It's all handmade. Usually masters make them themselves. The Maalem, I've seen him do that already.
Wow.
It can take up to 2 weeks, stringing it and tightening the skin. It's a camel skin that they use for the head. And then the gut strings from goat. So that's the sintir. And then you have the qaraqab, which are these metal castanets. And they're also handmade, like a blacksmith, forges them and all that. And then you have the tabal, which is the drum that you saw at the end. And that's usually in the beginning of the ceremony, the lila. They would go outside the house where the ceremony is taking place and start a processional, like how we did today, coming in through the stage. You process, and the idea there is to invite all the spirits into the house to have a balanced ceremony.
Yeah. Is the sintir and the tabla, are they ever played at the same time?
I mean, right now we could show, because it's
Yeah.
a show. There's a difference between the sacred lila type setting where we would be sitting, actually, the musicians, and then the show, like playing in venues like Joe's Pub or big festivals. Then it's different.
Okay.
Lila in Morocco. You have an alcohol inside the lila Gnawa to play song, and the ceremony is and song. You play Gnawa for colors and black and green houses, some white color is colors for playing Gnawa. And Gnawa is professional in Morocco, is a lot of years. My father is Maalem Abdullah from Moroccan Fez. He teach me a little bit.
Just a little.
Is to hang out from music, to listen, to listen to music. I hang out in Gnawa, Morocco, a lot of years. And Tanger, and Marrakesh, and Casablanca, and Sawera, to listen to song what you need. Listen to a lot of song. I come back and country in the original Fez, Morocco. I haven't nobody play a song, Jewish song. Is Fez to play in Hebrew and Gnawa music and song is Hebrew for Jewish. It's a lot of years. Is Jewish. You live in Morocco. You have a place and supermarket last night Mallah. Is Mallah for every city in Morocco, and Casablanca and Fez and Meknes and Marrakesh. Is Jewish in and supermarkets to buy some chicken, to buy some food for Jewish and kosher food for him. And to listen Gnawa, I need to practice in Gnawa in New York City, to hang out and guys. Now we have a band in New York City.
Yeah.
For everybody.
How long? First of all, thank you very much. How long have you guys been playing as a group?
Many, many years. Maalem has been in New York for over 20 years, and he's played with all sorts of people and projects. But as a band, we started officially around 2013, something like that. Yeah.
So, I'm curious. You created the differentiation between the Layla music and what was the other?
Just show, like
in the show, yeah. So, is across Morocco, do women perform this music sometimes? What does it look like when there is a bigger ensemble? What are sort of some of the variations if we went to another show that wasn't your group? What are some of the other variations?
Well, traditionally, just like you have the Maalem in Alila, who is in charge of the music and the spiritual element, you have the Muqaddima, which is the master of ceremonies, and usually it's a woman. It can be also a man, but most of the cases it's a woman, and she conducts everything else that the Maalem takes care of, so she'll do the rest. And for example, if people don't behave, like Maalem mentioned, in a real ceremony there's no alcohol, there's no smoking, it's like a sacred thing, so she'll make sure that everyone is behaved and everybody's there for the spiritual experience, and then also making sure that the colors are all set. There's a whole protocol, with the incense, and if somebody is trancing in the white, you have to give them the white drape. And so, but that's traditionally. And then now today, it's opened up where you also have female ma'allims, female troops, female groups, all women. And they're really prospering, and there's some great talent coming out of Morocco.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, Mira was kind enough to text me the names of some of the songs as you were going through them. So, one of the first songs, Fengoro. Okay, I want to know what the words you're saying are. If you were to translate what these words mean, is there a way to translate them? And I guess maybe even a more basic question is, what language are they?
They're not all Arabic. Some
Yeah.
are just mixed between Sudanese and other things. Some, Bambara, some other dialects. So it's with Gnawa, it's an African diaspora. So it's Sudanese involved is Tunisia and Algeria, and it all gets kind of swirled around.
Yeah. So that song, is song even the right word? What is the right word? Yeah. I don't want to be like, for that tune. Yeah, okay, so for that song, is there can you just say the lyrics that you keep on, the sort of the call and response? Is there a, slowly just, I expect all of you to download the album afterwards.
Yeah, bangara, bangara, Allah Akbar, bangara, bangari. Oh yeah, bangara, bangari. Oh yeah, bangara, bangari. Allah Akbar, bangara, bangari. Yes, ye, bangara, bangari.
Beautiful.
He's Bambara, he's same in Syria, New York, and Brooklyn, Harlem, Bronx. Queens, same like that is Bambara, Africa is every place and different, and Koyo and Bambara and Sudan is a lot of sang to Africa.
Yeah.
Is Africa, a lot of people is coming to Morocco, Africa and Gnawa. You listen to.
Yeah. We can give it up. insofar as this music is trance music, right? It's transportive, it's transformational. I wonder, as a performer, how does it feel to play only 4 minutes of it? Whereas usually I would imagine when you're performing or when it's a real ritual, you know, it can extend to 30 minutes, like really long experiences. What's the experience of playing 4 minutes and be like, all right, we're done, move on to the next one? What does that feel like?
They're just, yeah, it's great. It's, you know, the playing at a show or playing at Lila, they're two different. I'd say they're both healing and therapeutic. Some go deeper, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. And with the Lila, there are different songs that are designated for the ritual, and then for the show, there's more secular songs when we're, you know, dancing and having a good time. So they're just different experiences.
Yeah. I have a question. Can you talk about the colors? The color.
Yeah, sure.
So every color is kind of a saint or a spirit that's associated with that color, and it has its incense that's burned during those songs, and there's a specific order, people identify with certain colors. So within a community, like I was saying earlier, the Maalem knows, oh, this person I know loves the whites, oh, I know this one loves the reds or the black or whatever, and so if they see them in attendance at the Lila, they'll give it to them and stay on that groove, you know, for a very long time.
Can you tell us the order of the colors?
So it's a good question. The order is different in different cities. So basically there are like kind of 4 schools of Gnawa. You have the northern, which we call Shemali, and then you have the Marsawi, which means from the port, so Casablanca, Sawera and all that. Then Marrakesh has its own, and then you have Fez, where Maalem was raised and he learned from his late father, Abdullah bin Ja'far, and it's all its own school. So they also have a different order, but they all tend to agree that the beginning secular parts are the same, and then this starts with white. White is the first color in all of them, and then after that it differs. In Marrakesh, they split the blacks into 2, so there's 2 blacks, one in the beginning and then one at the end before the last color, which is the female spirits, the yellow, and you have, it's the mornings, it's like the sign of, you know, promise and fertility and all of that, and then they serve soup and have breakfast, you know, so there's a candy. 24 hours, sometimes 7 days. Actually, I've had so many stories you can imagine over the years from Maalem. And originally they used to do 7 days of Lila. Each day is a thing. So like one day is just the Bambara songs, which is the secular, like the Bangara.
Yeah.
Another day while people are cooking and preparing the big meal, they'll do a set of songs, Buhala or something. And then another day they'll just do 1 color, and then another day maybe 2 colors, like 7 days.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, we got support.
What are you doing tomorrow? Okay, so the last question I want to ask you is, what is it like to play with musicians who are coming into the group outside of this tradition? So when Yassine and his group steps in, what is it like to rehearse with them? Is it speaking 2 different musical languages?
Yeah, you do rehearsal, of course.
How does it feel to play with folks who don't know this language?
mean, Gnawa music is so kind of specific that naturally it works where the Gnawa will be kind of the front, and then whoever is joining in will be embellishments, and so it works really well in that way because it's very groove based. The gimbri is kind of like a bass, so it has, it covers that role, and then the castanets are high pitched, and then the singing sits in the middle, so it lends perfectly for like adding extra layers like flutes, horns, trumpets, and then drum set always works because it's adding groove. What doesn't unfortunately work is making the Gnawa try to adapt to the West because it's a different thing, both rhythmically, melodically, like you mentioned, quartertones. It's different scale, so that's why it's more of a front thing. Gnawa needs to be in the front, and then whatever you're attaching to it is embellishment.
Yeah, the gimbri leads.
Yes, it leads.
The Sintier leads.
Absolutely.
Would you say, do you feel like this group is sort of going through, this is an act of preservation? Is that how you feel about this music? About this specific ensemble that you're trying to preserve something?
Absolutely, and Maalem mentioned earlier the Jewish repertoire, which is called the Septine, coming from Sabbath, because it's performed on Saturdays. That's kind of a dying thing. One, from the mass migration outside the Moroccan Jewish community that left, and two, the few Maalems that are left today that know that repertoire. We happen to have one here in New York City, and since Fez has a huge history and community of the Jewish quarters, like he was saying, the Millah, that's where they live and all that, and so they were always doing these rituals. And it's a specific repertoire, and Maalem knows all of it, so definitely he's preserving it, and there are some recordings, and we did a show in Baltimore at a synagogue you can find on YouTube, so there you go, that's like preserved. Now we have that,
Is anyone learning? We're going to have it up. Is anyone studying under the Maalem right now? Is there going to be another generation?
You teach in Gnawa music, community. Some people is coming to talk question for Gnawa, for story for Gnawa. Everything I'm give you some question. A lot of people is come to hang out with me to listen Gembri, to teach him Gembri. These people is come to try Kalkava. You teach him to play Kalkava. There's a lot of friends come to hang out with me, a musician in New York City.
Amazing. Well, let's give it up for the band one more time. All right,
everybody. We actually have a recent release on Daptone Records, a great label, and it's called Lila, actually, speaking of that, and it's all traditional, and we recorded it to tape, old school. We have vinyls and CDs if you're interested out in the merch table. Thank you guys, and find us online, innovgnawa.com.
All right, everyone. Have a great night. Hope to see you tomorrow at the show.